All right, joining in on a mini class, comparative religions. So probably go through a couple of handouts at least, but this one starts with evolution of religion. So kind of just probably read through this. Feel free to pause with comments or questions. I don't think this first one is from may or may not be from a Christian standpoint, I'm not sure, but we'll take it with a grain of salt and go there. Origins, the oldest religious symbol found today is the sculptured torso of a female, the Earth Mother, found in an ancient grave. The oldest evidence for the belief in some form of afterlife are Neanderthal burial sites, some 60 to 70,000 years old. In these graves, the corpse was buried with various implements and supplies carefully arranged around it, presumably to prepare it for the afterlife.
Right there gives us an insight as to the approach of this theology.
Why do you say that?
Well, the Bible teaches us that it's not 60 to 70,000 years old. So their data that they're talking about could not be that. The earth is, according to the Bible, what, 4,000 years, 3,500 years old, something like that?
I think it's 6,000.
6,000, okay, 6,000, so it's not even close, so there wasn't a Neanderthal. Sorry, guys.
Well, the title Evolution of Religion was a little bit of a warning flag.
Right, right. So you start saying.
Get him away.
Is this the evolution of religion or the religion of evolution?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I was
Oh, the
thinking
religion of
that
evolution.
too.
There you go.
It goes on, dynamism, the belief that there are forces in nature that humans can use to their benefit. Mana is a force that can be harnessed, and magic is the knowledge that is required in order to use mana. Typically, sympathetic magic is used, rituals that imitate what is sought, for example, the rain dance, fertility rituals, voodoo, etc.
All right, if we know exactly where this is coming from.
So I think these are like different forms of ancient types of religion. Animism, the soul or spirit worship, beliefs about some form of spiritual afterlife arising from the fear of death. Dreams are often thought to be the means for the spirit to contact the afterlife or spirit world. Most animism takes the form of ancestor worship. Some spirits are worshipped as spirits of the dead. Furthermore, anything alive may have a spiritual presence. Spirits may be believed to guard houses or property. Some related words: rite, a specific group of prayers and rituals performed in sequence to achieve a desired effect. Shaman, specialist in these rituals with knowledge of the spirit world, also called seers or witches.
Don't the shaman have the Nation of Islam?
What's that?
Don't they have shaman in the Nation of Islam?
Not as far as I know.
Okay, first off, the right, these are all things they do on behalf of themselves to achieve their awareness instead of it being delivered by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, although if you take that term in the broadest sense, it could be included in Christian rituals. I think that would be another. Oh, it does use that term ritual in there, but yeah. Cult in this sense is a specific set of rites to a specific god. So this is a different use of the term cult than what you normally how it's normally used. Taboo, a limited or forbidden thing or action.
Morphism.
Theoromorphism. Gods are pictured as various animals, seen especially in Native American culture. A hierarchy of spirits exists and may be very difficult to deal with. Totemism, the belief that a divine animal created humans and gave them everything they know.
You wonder, that was the origination of the totem pole.
Yeah, that's what occurred to me, yeah.
Anthropomorphism. God or gods take on form or characteristic of humans, may relate to physical, moral, or emotional qualities.
Yeah.
Polytheism, a system of having many gods. Gods may be viewed as growing old and dying.
What polytheism, wasn't that in operation a lot of the, pre-Christ, pre-cultures
Yes.
for us?
See, now this one right here, go ahead.
Go ahead.
This, it might have been good to be able to get that in color, because you see these are colored here.
Yep. Oh, with the map?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. We can look at the color version of that if you guys want. Within a polytheistic culture, the lower classes typically create more and more gods, while the upper classes create fewer and fewer gods. This process occurs simultaneously for the two classes.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I never seen that before, or heard about that.
What do you guys think that's about?
Well, it stands to reason, once you get more empowered and strengthened in and of yourself, the less you need for your God. In this case, they're gods.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too.
And those who are in greater need, they come up for the need of having more gods to meet their needs and their crisis, whatever that may be.
And thus Jesus says, "Blessed are you who are poor."
Mm.
Of course, it helps to have the right God, but monotheism, the worship of
Here we're gonna get someone.
one and only one God, generally regarded as immortal, omniscient, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, personal, and immutable. All the major Western religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are monotheistic, and non-pantheistic God is viewed as supernatural and separate from the world. Do they have a section on pantheism? Or is that our
Might be on the one I brought you, I think.
commentary on it? Some related words: revelation, a message God has given humans in order to reveal himself. Typically, revelations communicate God's plans for a people, God's commandments for proper behavior, and possibly prophecies of God's future plans or actions.
That's hard.
Prophet, a divinely inspired messenger of God. The criteria and qualifications for being a genuine prophet often cause controversy within a religion. Similarly, an alleged prophet may face violent opposition from established religious leaders when he or she challenges the religious status quo.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, that's that section. Thoughts?
Oh, I like how you put it separated. That's good, yeah. Like this is one half of it and this is the other half.
Yeah, I kind of zoomed in. I mean, you'll have margins on either side, but I kind of went
Okay.
column by column,
Mhm.
so.
Get comment.
Mhm.
Mind if I throw something in here?
Sure.
I think it's important that we use the term evolution of religion. In this sense of the word, you might be able to see how, like, the awakening in a very small way, and then finally defined and refined down to monotheism. The early stages, you know, you could see more participation, more, need more participation, and then finally a clearer, first we think of more, and then we see polytheism, and well, no, it's now narrowed down. It's almost like you go like this, and then you narrow it down to monotheism. It starts, well, I'm just now learning, I'm seeing this, I'm sensing this. Oh, wait a minute, there's so many gods, they're all this, and wait a minute, now we're monotheistic. It's almost like, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, now let's consider that critically though.
Mm-hmm.
From a secular perspective, I think that that would be seen differently in the sense that it's not a journey of people becoming more aware of the truth. It's just a historical journey where here's what people used to think 60 to 70,000 years ago. And eventually they came up with this other idea about only one God, whereas before they used to make up, multiple gods. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, from a Christian standpoint, first human was monotheistic. It wasn't something that humans evolved into. It was there from the beginning, even if it wasn't
Fully
on
aware.
a mass scale around, the globe. So again, I'm just pointing out that there's two different narratives, the secular and the Christian narrative. Again, secular perspective is that, religion has evolved. Christian perspective is that
Awareness is coming alive.
yeah, and I think especially you look at the Old Testament and the nations, the Gentiles, they were going all kinds of different directions, all of the above first several categories, right? Whereas God revealed himself through the nation of Israel. And so, the idea caught on later on, but it was still tracks back
To this,
corresponding to these other things at the same time. Over here in this little circle, you have monotheism, while on a broader scale, you have all of these others. But that monotheistic thread goes all the way back to the beginning. It wasn't something that evolved over time.
or not disagreeing with you, going along with it, how about another way of describing in that, all right, I'm showing you my awareness, I'm coming awake. Wait a minute, you guys are getting out of control. There's not 17 gods. Wait a minute, there's not 2,300 gods. Wait a minute. No, here's Christ.
Sure.
Bringing it back to the unity of the one God that was first sensed. But in and of ourselves and our need, and we think we got it all, we're multiplying this. We got the God of fertility, got a war, got a this, got a right. But now, wait a minute, no, you guys are getting out of control. Let's bring this back. Wait a minute, here's Christ. You want to know what God the Father looks like? Look at Jesus the Son.
So the other
Wonder
thing,
what I look like? Here he is.
the other thing,
Would that be fair?
the other narrative, sure, and I think that goes along with the other narrative is a spiritual warfare narrative, where as God is revealing
The
himself,
clarity being added.
the enemy is trying to keep up and twist everything,
All that.
so that, okay, the humans seem to be coming around to understanding that there's one God. Well, now let's try to distort that image of
Let's
one
distort
God,
it.
whereas before
Let's confuse it.
we got them confused about how many gods there were. Now
Let's muddy the water.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a
It's almost like, wait a minute, we made too much of this, wait a minute, let's just simplify it, there's just one guy.
so there's
And
not
here he
that
is.
ongoing struggle for as God continues to reach out to the people that he loves, that he created for relationship, continues to draw them. The enemy is trying to distort, anything he can throughout that, throughout our lives individually, but also throughout
I was gonna
human,
say, how about the
human
believer?
history.
How about the believer, the darts and the arrows that we receive as being firmly planted in the Lord?
Yeah.
Fully, the darts that I get every day, really? So he's trying to mislead me too, especially me, because if he
Sure.
gets the people who are true believers out of the way, guess what? It's really easy pickings for those of us that we're discipling and trying to bring closer to him. If we get those people in leadership out of the way, that's easy pickings.
Yeah, so I mean, similar to, we all have our own journey of revelation
Battle,
and
Battle.
battling against deception.
battle between the
We're kind of
ears.
talking about human history on a mass scale has gone through phases of deception and revelation, you know,
Encapsulated in a dozen sentences.
right? James, you guys want to chime in? Okay, we got this map, which, as Dale pointed out, works a little better in color. So what I can do is I can put it on the TV screen. How about that?
Great. Isn't Northern Africa very Islamic?
Yeah.
Stronghold?
Almost exclusively one.
Yeah. Northern Africa, that dark spot.
Pastor, Daleen is
Ooh,
from South Africa. But, she, talked about, Northern Africa is literally a dark continent, not because of the skin tone of the people,
Right,
but because of the spiritual atmosphere that they operate in.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so you got pink being Christian. So it's nice to see we're covering the most territory, at least on the map.
Wait a minute, Christian? What is known as Russia?
Mm-hmm.
What?
A lot of Russian Orthodox.
Okay, Hindu, okay. Which would be India. Is this Pakistan? What is that?
I never was too good at geography.
Either.
You talking about that orange one right there?
Yeah.
The little orange one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Bigger orange one is India, of course. But yeah, Hindu.
Oh, yeah, Papua New Guinea, big tribal. There's a missionary I know that is translating the Bible into the native language in Papua New Guinea
Oh, cool.
with Wycliffe.
Nice.
Oh,
So you got Judaism in pockets,
look at
You
here,
have-
Islamic.
Islam. Yeah,
Forever, isn't it strange?
they made it over there towards Australia.
Yeah.
But then also kind of where you'd expect Middle East, Northern Africa.
Greenland,
Um,
is that Greenland?
Buddhist, Taoist, intermixed. That's the darker purple.
Oh, wait, no, that's undocumented.
No, I'm kind of going, see this,
Where's your arrow?
this- I'm just kind of going
Okay,
down the
here you
list.
are, okay.
So Buddhist, Taoist,
Oh, I
that's
see.
over
what you-
here. Then you got green is the tribal,
Islamic, Hindu.
and then that
Buddhist,
gray,
the purple.
that
Okay,
gray
yeah, of
is,
course, Buddhism, of course,
China.
China, Korea, Vietnam, Laos.
Taiwan.
Mongolia,
think so.
I think that's Mongolia, isn't it? So right here. North, South Korea, North, South Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia.
It's interesting how much undocumented gray areas there
Yeah.
are.
Well, you would think with the Aborigines, okay, pink is what? Christian, okay. You would think they would be somewhat tribal.
Well, I guess I just didn't know that much of Australia was
Undocumented or, yeah.
and then Alaska too is kind of the other one that's a little,
Well, there's so few people up there, would be my guess,
right?
you
So,
know, what 10,000
but they
miles.
they don't just assume, they just say, well, we haven't talked to them, so. we don't know."
Fairbanks. Fair, or is that Anchorage? Is that Anchorage is in Anchorage? So this would be Fairbanks. Okay, what's this? Okay, this is Russia over here. Okay. Iceland? I remember my geography.
Mhm.
Reykjavik.
The little small pockets of Jews. Look at here. Where, I wonder what, is this Moscow?
I don't know. Still just
wonder
as
what
bad
this is.
geography now as it was 5 minutes ago.
I wonder what this is. The little spot, pocket there.
I mean, we could try to Google it if you're interested. We're about out of time, but yeah, I don't know. Just do maps.
What percentage of Americans are Islamic faith?
Oh,
Islam is the third largest religion in the United States, 1.34%. Christians, 67%. I just thought there would have been a larger presence of Islamic believers in the United States than that. I would have guessed more. Would you, James?
I would have.
Yeah, me too. I would have thought. Would. So I'm going over the rising tomorrow, right? At 1 to 3.
Okay, so yeah, we talked about that as a future possibility.
Okay.
Probably, yeah, in January,
Okay.
hoping to get that started. So yeah, we're not
There's
there
no
yet.
filling invites.
Talked to a couple of the guys today. They're thinking 3 times a week might sound good. We might do a recovery meeting on a couple of those days a week.
I'm definitely gonna take these Thursday and Friday off.
I guess what I'm seeing, you asked that question, St. Petersburg,
Okay,
it's kind of around this area.
right? That would make sense.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Whoops. And then that other one,
Don't typically think of Russia as a Christian nation,
well, don't tell them that.
you know?
They might not like that. And they'll take their hat off, you know, that hat, you can see the Russian, or reach with that hat.
That's not a pretty sight, I can see it.
Russia's primary religion is Russian Orthodoxy, a Christian denomination, with an estimated 61.8% of the population identifying as Orthodox in 2024.
So I wonder what the entire population, you know, generally speaking, Russians think about what their government is doing in Ukraine, you know what I mean? They're overrunning this country, they're beating them down for 3 years now. You just kind of wonder how it's just hurting them internally, because they do have, and they have that foundation in Christ. In sensing their brother's pain, you know, you just. You better read that.
Oh.
Yep.